You are listening to the daily homily for Magdala in the Holy Land.
Jesus proposed another parable to the crowds, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be likened to a man who sowed good seed in his field. While everyone was asleep, his enemy came and sowed weeds all through the wheat, and then went off. When the crop grew and bore fruit, the weeds appeared as well. The slaves of the householder came to him and said, 'Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where have the weeds come from?' He answered, 'An enemy has done this.' His slave said to him, 'Do you want us to go and pull them up?' He replied, 'No. If you pull up the weeds, you might uproot the wheat along with them. Let them grow together until harvest. Then at harvest time I will say to the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles for burning, but gather the wheat into my barn.' He proposed another parable to them. 'The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that a person took and sowed in a field. It is the smallest of all the seeds. Yet when full grown, it is the largest of plants. It becomes a large bush, and the birds of the sky come and dwell in its branches.' He spoke to them another parable. 'The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed with 3 measures of wheat flour until the whole batch was leavened.' All these things Jesus spoke to the crowds in parables. He spoke to them only in parables, to fulfill what had been said through the prophet. 'I will open my mouth in parables. I will announce what has lain hidden from the foundation of the world.' Then, dismissing the crowds, he went into the house. His disciples approached him and said, 'Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field.' He said in reply, 'He who sows good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, the good seed, the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. Just as weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all who cause others to sin and all evildoers. They will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears ought to hear.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Yesterday evening, there were 2 Chinese pilgrims visiting, atheists. They were before, kneeling down, asking for graces of healing for their friends. At the image of the hemorrhaging woman touching Jesus, they were believers. Before, they were atheists. Now they were believers. Pentecostal type of spirituality. I don't know how you feel about evildoers. Have you ever thought that they could be a blessing for you? When we were at home on the farm, growing up as children, we learned how to pull out the weeds without uprooting the seedlings. You had to be careful, because if you pull up the weeds, especially there was a grassy weed, we called it scotch grass, and it had roots extending very wide and far. And if you pulled them out, you could ruin a lot of the plants. That's the logic behind this parable. And the owner of the Tillage tells the workers, don't uproot the weeds. Obviously, Jesus is teaching us, and we are students of Jesus. We are learning, but I think we have a hard time learning this teaching of Jesus. We accept Jesus, many of his teachings, but we have a hard time accepting the weeds one, because we want to eliminate the bad people. We don't like them. We are angry about them. We even lose our patience over them. We speak badly about them. And we like to get rid of them because we like paradise where everybody is nice and holy and good, the way I see things. This is a big challenge for us. Imagine the blessing the evildoers are for us. First of all, this fact and this teaching of Jesus says, you are not the judge. Okay, some things are very obvious. You know the 10 Commandments, you know that you should forgive your enemies, you know all of these things. And these people are not doing that. They're doing violence. They're human traffickers. They're drug gang leaders. They're leading wars. They're destroying people, destroying their lives. Or maybe just in the kitchen, they're very mean. They never help. They are always causing trouble with their comments. They're bringing people to impatience. But imagine the effort it is for love, for good people, to deal in a beautiful way with the evildoers. And you remember back in Genesis chapter 4, Cain kills Abel. And then God protects Cain because he knows that he has lost, in a certain sense, his rights to life. But God says, no, you don't. You have not lost your right to life, because that criminal can become a saint. And there are people who are canonized who committed murder. And sometimes it's together inside the same person, the good and the bad. Don't we know that? Didn't Paul say, I do the wrong that I should not do, and I don't do the good I should do? So we have the battle inside of us. So maybe somebody looking at us in one of our deeds said, that's a bad person. And they're judging me. So there's a whole lot of gospel in these words. I was fascinated by the book of wisdom reading we have. You know, this is why the book of wisdom is in the canon. Precisely here in this text and some other texts, the whole gospel is contained. In fact, the whole Bible is contained. You are the source of justice. Your might. You can do everything. You could read chapter 11 as well and chapter 12, not just these 5 verses from chapter 12. But these 2 chapters are filled. They're a beautiful treatment of God's mercy in the course of his providence in our lives. You are master of might. There's nobody stronger than you, God. Yet you judge with clemency, with mercy. He is the most powerful, and he treats us with tenderness. This is amazing. You govern us with much lenience, a lenient judgment in a court. The person could have been a child, a teenager could have been put in jail for 3 years, and the judge says, you're going to jail for 3 months instead of 3 years, and then you're going to serve the community, and we want you to become a very good young man. You judge, you govern us with leniency. We all have experienced God's patience. How much we need to bring this to bear in our world today. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all the people who have great power in the world read this text today and lived it? Even us who have power over a certain group of people in our home, at work, if we could see that all of our strengths are for exercising mercy.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to learn more about Magdala, follow us on YouTube and on Facebook.